Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my shop. Today is January 8th and it's my weekly shop update. So hope your year is off to a great start. I've been having fun here in the shop trying to get things going on the Live Edge waterfall river tables project for the guild, as well as finishing up the Highboy build. So on the Highboy this week I finished up the last of the flame finials, so those guys are all done and ready to go. So that means that uppercase is ready for finish, or at least finish prep, as well as the lowercase is ready for finish prep as well, which is super exciting. So I edited down the guild video on the flame finials, so you guys can check that out, as I've been doing for the last few weeks with all little fun details on the Highboy build. So let's check that out. So there we go, all three flame finials are installed, and that's the final look of the uppercase. Super excited to get to this point on these guys. Now, the funniest part about doing this was the last one I did, is for whatever reason, it was like the one that was the most hard to get going and get started on. I had two false starts on that. So the first one I turned, I think I laid out the area down here wrong, so the shape and the profile was like totally wrong. So that was a bad start, and then I started turning another one, and this one ended up having like a little hairline fracture in it, so I decided to give up on that. Luckily it's not too far in, but I knew that if I got further in, that crack got worse or something else happened. It's not worth it being 5 minutes in at this point and just calling it quits, as opposed to going all the way through and spending 2 hours and making it only to realize that it's faulty. So next I'll start working on getting these drawers finished up. They need to be assembled, cleaned up, and then fit to the openings so they're ready to go for finish. And I'm going to start that tomorrow, and hopefully that should only take a day, and I'll be getting some finish on here this week, which I am very much looking forward to. This is going to be pretty transformative. It's going to go from this super boring, dull, kind of whitish red to that deep cherry red, which is going to look quite the stark difference from this to the finished cherry. So I'm looking forward to that. So last week I mentioned how I had wanted to get back into doing some turning, so I grabbed a couple of my dry bowl blanks and brought them out here, so they'll be staring at me, so I'll be hopefully compelled to finish turn these. I'm pretty excited about that. These are some bigger ones that I have. This guy here is a piece of curly maple. This is from the root ball area of the tree that became JR's bed. So this was part of the stump that was just kind of laying there. Well, not laying there, it's in the ground still, and I carved a chunk of it out with my chainsaw and turned this down. Oh, I must have roughed this thing out like 4 years ago, something like that. And I got this chunk of cherry. I don't know when I did this. This must have been at least that long ago, if not longer. So I think that's all that's going on in my shop this week. Let's take a look at some viewer projects. First this week is an entertainment stand by Tim. This was a much needed project to help him organize all the wiring under his TV. The live edge top is made from an oak slab and has a walnut bow tie inlay, and the base and shelves are made from hickory. Bark was left on the top and one of the shelves, and that was sealed with epoxy, and the whole thing is finished with armor seal. Next is the Vanity by Ricky. It's made from hickory and walnut and features hammered copper sinks. Ricky milled the hickory for the top and doors himself from a fallen tree on his land with a homemade chainsaw mill, and then the walnut was reclaimed. The top is finished with 2 coats of epoxy, and the rest is finished with Danish oil and lacquer. Next is the memory box by Callum. The box's main body is walnut with an oak panel for the bottom and a Wenge panel for the lid. The dovetails were cut using a combination of the bandsaw and some chisel work, and the whole thing is finished with several coats of tung oil. Last this week is a walnut trestle table by Preston. The table is heavily based on the Watford trestle table by Andy Rawls and features some really nice wedge through Morrison tenon joinery. Preston has an awesome video over on his YouTube channel on making this entire table, and you're definitely going to want to check that out. So one last thing, in the February 2018 issue of Woodworker's Journal, there's a little blurb, little write-up thing about myself and April and Frank in there, which is super awesome, pretty cool. There goes the magazine. It's down. So thanks to Woodworker's Journal for including us in there. The guys over there are super awesome. I've met them a few times. Super awesome people. So I think that's about all I have for this week. Thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments about anything I talked about today or anything here in my shop, please feel free to leave me a comment, as I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.